That's all cool. So he keeps on sending this up. Greetings and salutations, one and all. Um, just trying to move this around so I know what the hell is going on. That's better. That's even better. Yes, so happy hump day, everybody. Welcome to Wednesday, and I hope your week has been acceptable. Yes, it was my first day back at work today because I had Monday and Tuesdays off. Billed those last week as well. What? But yes, as you can see, that is the Monarch, which is the like capital vehicle of the Crown. It has the. I haven't magnetized these yet because I was in a rush. To be honest, I wasn't meant to be painting it. I just did. But yeah, so that's the Monarch variant of the Sovereign class big monster tank. That is the Sovereign, which is basically St. Paul's Cathedral, which you would put on there, like so, and travels along. So the scale, so these are the two little dudes that you get in the kit. You can see, there you go, with little pith helmets and their rifles, and he was reacting to this. Oh, right, okay. I get you now. Did I see the whip? I'm not sure today. I've not been around on social media too much today because we're at work. There's only the two of us for the next few days because Will is off. So it's been a little bit mental. So I haven't really caught up with whatever is going on in the world. The only thing I know of note was Morphidius asking several people that I'm, well, two of them are people that I've met and know and get on with. The other person I only know via Instagram. But they was doing the Mass Effect board game, war game unveiling thing in London. So the Painting Coach, Electric Eve, and Chaos Chloe. It's some Chloe paints, I think, possibly. Yeah, Chloe paints. Yeah. So they all went down to London. There's probably some other people that I'm not aware of who also went as well. So I'm excited because on the Xbox, I love playing Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3, and Andromeda as well. I enjoyed Andromeda. Although the cutscenes were a little bit janky a lot of the time, there was problems with that, and then they shut down the studio, so none of the DLCs got released for it, which I was looking forward to a couple of the DLCs to getting some of the extra alien races involved. But yeah, they did away with it, unfortunately. Right, just seeing the tank. Oh, yes. Yes, I saw that late last night, I think. I thought I hallucinated and saw it. No, I liked it, yeah. That's it's definitely you can see the melter cannon there. Is that a volcano cannon? It's also got on there, and obviously the apox at the top there. Bonkers. Pardon moi. Right, sorry, I'm just. Well, so many notifications. I haven't even tried looking up and checking them out. So, apologies, and also apologies because I didn't get to finish my dinner. So I've also got some sausages. So there you go. Seamless. But yeah, anyway. Oh, sausage. So this weighs, it's got a heft to it, and you could injure somebody by throwing this in their general direction. But it's a really cool little kit. It's like a little land tank. Well, I say all tanks are land tanks, but it's like a land frigate. I wouldn't say battleship because it's not nowhere near big enough to be a battleship, but it always reminds me, especially when you've got the top section like that, those engines, mortal engines, that's it. So like London creeping along, but obviously not on the same scale. But yeah, so these two little guys, where I posted it up in the Armoured Clash Facebook page, one of the head guys mentioned, oh, you've got a couple of guys there you put on there just as a little decoration. Where I haven't really been involved in a lot of stuff recently, on like their Discords and Facebook pages, it's something that everyone's been talking about, but I had no idea. And the first comment I got when I posted it up in one of the groups saying like unboxing video and all that, so the two little dudes. I'm like, yeah, so what about? But yeah, there's been a lot of conversation about those two little dudes, but I just said that, you know, one's for the left, one's for the right, obviously. So these are a couple of straggler lancers that I had to one side. I got these from Ivy with part of her sort of donation of stuff when she was clearing out before emigrating to Japan. Also got these guys as well, amongst other bits and pieces and Titans and what have you. I'm a very lucky boy. I really appreciate it. It brought me to tears because no one's generally that nice, and yeah, it was a very nice little thing. Very sad to see her go, but as long as she's healthy, that's all that matters. But yeah, so with these little guys, these were pre-built, so these are in the box, and I've just literally just gotten around to doing stuff. So that's what I'm aiming to try and attempt today. I forgot about that one because I based this one the other night, but this one I haven't based. We've still got a load of Mechanicum to be getting on with as well, but that's as and when I get the chance, because I've also got to do more of these bits and pieces. I've also got to sort out my entry for the Gundam Build World Championships as well. So although it's done, I have taken some photographs, but you know, like you're thinking, is it though? So I've got that to sort of piddle about with. It probably is done, but is it though? Right. Sand mitts. Don't forget to hit the like button. Thank you very much, Go For It Painting. And what are you up to tonight? Apart from obviously Chaos Kit Basher and his Reaver Titan, what are you up to, Go For It? Right. Yum, yum, yum. So, can't believe how fast this year has gone so far. It's bewildering because we're halfway through November, practically. That's Pinvoice to open up the top of your super glue. That's good. And what I then do, once I've done that, burn the glue off and cool the heated blade. Not exactly, well, it was hot, but so with our little base, I'm going to move that mouse before I actually super glue it to something, which wouldn't be good. Have a great paint job. Oh, cheers, dude. So getting this up and running is what we're all about. Random rocks. To add added texture. How is the volume going? Because I've only got it very light here, so I can't really hear it. Here's my broom, so my little brush broom. Into the pot. Waste not, want not. And to clean these little bits off here. Right. Where's that? Oh, there it is. So what I'll be doing, if I can find the bloody stuff, is shaking the rattle can for a little bit, just to obviously agitate the paint within. I'll step to the door outside and give them a little spray in my little spray box. Just a little annoying rattling going on for the time being. If I'm ever on time, I think that is a sign of the apocalypse. Things are really bad. Oh my god, Lee's ready to paint. Oh my god! We're all gonna die! One day, but not today. Right, so 2 seconds or 10 seconds, maybe a bit more. Alright, maybe I was nearer to sort of like 25 seconds. So I'll just put them in the box, just next to the radiator, just to warm. I'll give them a spray in a moment with the hairdryer because I can. Lovely. So this dude. So whilst that's just chilling there, I'll give this a little brush over because it's all about multitasking. Okay. But why are you using lead belcher, I hear you cry? And the thing is, you want it to match in with the other bits. Apart from the roof can be a slightly different colour, but the rest of it has still got to match what I did yesterday. I'm going to say with the main tank and gun, I'd done the video, the unboxing video, and I was thinking, well, it's there in front of me. Maybe I should just, give it some paint. And then I just got this urge just to see how far I could paint, how much I can get done in the time I had, and that was the end result of about 2 and a bit hours. So straight on it, straight in it, get it done. So this has already been primed. I'm not just painting straight over resin. I'm not that bad. And you give that base layer on which we will work from. So I want to have a quick look on what the actual colours they have on the roof of St. Paul's, because you want to try and do it as near as damn it, really, don't you? It'd be rude not to. Right. Also, just remembered, I haven't done do my... Okay. So this is the problem when you do not... Well, I did plan ahead, in a way. I got the thing up, you know, earlier than I normally do. Normally I do it like 10 minutes before I actually go online. But I didn't. You gotta do these sort of things, otherwise. Right, that's done. Right. Back to semi-normality, he says. Which is totally not. Right. They're cooking rather nicely. Let's look up St. Paul's. Not now. Images. Correct. There, there, Strike. How are you today? How's your Titan exploits going? Yeah, as I was saying earlier on, I've not done much on the social media side today, apart from obviously posting out that thing a minute ago. And last night, when I'd done the little parade thing. So most of my day at work would have been me obviously working, but with a lot more searching around the internet. But as we get nearer to Christmas, work gets absolutely bonkers. So you got to do what you got to do, unfortunately. Hey, hello, Millie. welcome, welcome, welcome. What a lovely surprise. Was not expecting you to pop in. How are you? How's your evening? Are we hobbying tonight? One does hope so. I'm having a mare with this. So because I'm such a sort of like tight ass, I don't chuck brushes away. I let them, live out their lives in relative peace and sanctuary, and then use them and abuse them as and when needed. And so currently, as I'm waiting for the knights I want to do to sort of dry, because I just sprayed them, I'm just trying to do the St. Paul's type thing for that big land tank thing I was posted up and showed you. Oh yeah. Right, change of brush. That's not doing it for me. Good. Waiting for some pieces to get back up on the website, and I'm finally buying a full-scale Warlord. Nice. The second person this week, because I was on Gonda's. It's got a Twitch channel, and incidentally, Millie will be doing some Twitch-a-rooney stuff. She started doing some live streams recently as well, so big up for Millie Paints, because she's doing the hobby god's work. So yeah, definitely look out for both of them on their Twitch, and obviously I'm assuming they'll be posting up on Instagram and that, which actually Millie has. She put up a thing the other day saying when she's going to be streaming, so all the information, if you go onto Instagram and follow Millie, if you don't do it already, why not? Honestly, she's very nice. But yeah, they've got all their itineraries ready to go, so get on it because she's got plans. So, and she's a really good painter as well. Don't tell her, but she's a really good painter. I'm good, just got back from a dog walk. Hey, how are the little doggers? No, that's wrong. Sorry, how are doggos? Sorry. I'm sorry. Faux pas. We'll put it down as a yeah. Okay. How are the dogs? Let's keep it English. Speak it. Yes. How are the dogs? And how are you? You obviously are feeling a little bit better for your taking them for walkies. And did you enjoy yourself with your walkies as well? Getting ready for bed. Yeah, so I missed the last part of the sentence. Touche. Oh, that's tickled me. Missing head and shoulder rocket launchers, though. Well, you have to get them done, my friend. You have to get those missile pods and stuff done for all Titans. How are they meant to go to battle and die gloriously in hellfire and explosions if they do not have the ability to reciprocate their love? So yes, it's it's a bit wonky this evening. I'm all over the place. But yes, it's what? I haven't seen. Yeah, the other thing that because well, I say I've not been on the social media much today. I've been work, so I keep telling myself. But I did see like a trailer for that new animation that Love, Sex and Robots did with Space Marines involved in that. So I haven't actually watched it, but I've seen like it was an email, wasn't it? It was an email come through from the community page saying, "Hey, this is coming out soon in a couple of weeks' time, first week of December, or something like that." So that's definitely something to look forward to, because I animation wise, because I don't have Warhammer TV currently. And to be fair, when I did have it, I didn't really make use of it that much because there wasn't that much going on. I watched a couple of the Louise's like tutorial videos that she did. I'm assuming they're all gone now because they wanted to obviously not recognise the hobbyists, the painters and that and their work, but the animations have been really, really good from what I've been hearing from a lot of friends that I have good opinions of their choices. 10th of December, right? Cheers for that, Strike. So definitely something to be interesting, because I know the whole series is basically they've taken each episode is a different sort of genre of computer game or something or other. Something that's has had impact, which I think Warhammer has had quite a reach and impact in recent years in particular. This is going to be an interesting bit, as he's going to try and harpoon another sausage out of view of the camera. Nice. I'm not eating whole sausages. I cut them down for manageable bite size because I hadn't finished my dinner. It's in a little plastic tray. Booba shaker. Right, I'm gonna piss about with the window now. I haven't, as you may have noticed, rinsed my brush because I'm trying to discolour the grey that I'm using now, because I'm applying it to the roof, heavier at the top, darker at the bottom, because St. Paul's has this effect going on. So I'm trying to emulate what I just saw in the picture, which I've got on my screen here. So just stabbing it with the brush to give that stipple effect. See, darker at the bottom of it. I'm dreaming of going to Beachhead next year with retirement. Well, that's definitely something you can do. We are walking again at Beachhead. But, are you on Facebook with the Titan Zones Club group there? Because obviously all information of like walks and stuff would generally be shown on there, and you can obviously find out once you register your Titan as well. You can definitely participate in walks. The camera would like to actually do its job. No, it's not going to do it. Damn you. So it's kind of, I'm doing like a kind of grayscale rivet with this, to be fair. And I think, yes, you were correct. I did kind of just go ribbit. So apologies for all my frog watchers. I probably just said something wrong in their language, and I wouldn't want them being upset. Oh, I beg your pardon as well. So I just don't know. Okay. There is a what do you call it? They do have an Instagram page as well, or a presence as such. But yeah, obviously, however you're doing with your build and all that, because you've got, well, what's it? Where are we? So Beachhead is February, so you should be fine. You know, you've built enough AT to know how to do, because they are practically the same within reason. Trying to find. There you are. Blush. Oh. Is it true that the Warhammer community is pretty big on Facebook? Yeah, there are obviously certain groups. Actually, my sister Gail was, I don't know if I think she still is. I'm not sure. Is one of the admins on the Warhammer 40k like page. It's been around for donkey's years. The last time I actually went onto it, because again, I sort of floated around for a little bit, and then I sort of narrowed down the stuff that I wanted, dealing mostly with Titans. But the 40k, the Warhammer 40k page that you admin on, and this is going back, I think pre-COVID, was over 40,000 members. So yeah, there are groups out there where you have quite a high showing of hobbyists and all that. So yeah, there is like I do have a like Facebook hobby page for the Forge of Mars. Everything I do has Forge of Mars in it, so that's how I'm quite easy to find. It's either going to be that, or it's going to be the top hits. It's going to be Graham McNeil's Forge of Mars book series. There was also a science fiction writer in the 60s or 70s who done a series called Forges of Mars. and but there are people out there. I don't know how much, as I said, because I'm sort of I have a presence there, but I don't sort of go like hunting as I used to do, where you'd want to see what was going on, the latest release and all that, because as I say, I've opted for a simple life as much as I can. But there are, as I said, a big presence here, there, and everywhere, wherever you look. You know, underneath that cushion over there, there's a hobbyist. But as I say, like having a Facebook page for yourself, like as like Millie Paints sort of thing, can't hurt. I know, like most people, like Chris Frozen, Electric Eve, Emma, does have their own like Facebook presence. Richard Gray, and all that. So it is something that people do. As I said, I've had my page for donkey's years. But to say, I have been very lax on that side of things, because I get to a situation where I feel like, you know, with people following me everywhere, you're seeing the same things pretty much, and I just feel I get like a little bit sort of like wary that I'm like overdoing it with like posts, because like I just think, oh, they're gonna hate me, they're gonna see me everywhere, they're gonna hate me and all that sort of stuff. I generally don't, but you get that sort of mindset about things. And I said for the most part of this year, I've done very sporadic posting to Facebook, because I have been focusing mostly on Instagram for the least. Instagram has been my main outlet for hobby, because it has the most followers on there. So then it's from Instagram, it drops quite significantly down to what was Twitter, and my Facebook page, because they have fairly, I think, Twitter, and then it goes down to my Facebook page. But as I say, other hobbyists do quite well on all formats, you know. So it's something to think about. Sausage. Brilliant. I'm just going to give that a bit of a hair dry. I'm just afraid that the missing pieces won't be back on the website in time for that. So, missing pieces, I'm assuming you mean weapons. So, what weapons were you after? Pardon me, I'm blowing with my hairdryer. Thanks for the info. Right, I'm heading to bed. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you very much, and thank you for dropping in. That was a very welcome and pleasant surprise. Thank you. Sweet dreams, and I'll speak to you again soon. So, have a great rest of your evening, as short as it's going to be for sleeps. All right. Night. Right. So you can see how where the wash has. I'll tell you what. I'm going to lump this camera. Will you bloody focus? No, you won't. Okay. So, to my eye here, it looks like the oh. No, it's not having it. But yeah, so with the shade, that was my watered down mix of Agrax and water. So it's accumulated where I wanted it to. The angle of the hairdryer helps as well because it's forcing it into one position and not two sort of like, you know, one-sided sort of thing. So that I'll probably have to put a little bit there or something. And then I'm sure once I take some photographs, it will look much better. So I might add a little bit more wash on the bottom there. I've got to do the gold. The right gold? It could be the right gold. That's not the right brush though. Oh, keep on doing that. Turn on. Head is missing also. Ah, right. Head and rocket launchers on the shoulders. I mean the carapace. Oh, sorry, Warlord, aren't we? For some reason I was thinking of a Reaver. Yeah. So yeah, the Apocalypse launchers. Best thing you can do is go onto the website and just, you know, notify you when back in. Thing is, unless you know somebody who is going up to Warhammer World, because they do sometimes have stock in store. So if you knew somebody was heading there, I'd get onto them and say, like, if you just check out what's there, because you could get lucky. The amount of times I've gotten lucky after certain things, and to find it was there, it's worth its weight in gold. Is it Lamar's beta head then you're after? Because obviously that's a event, not event. That's a Warhammer World exclusive anyway. So you can't get that online. You have to be in Warhammer World. Done that, fingers crossed. Yeah, as soon as you get notification, you just buy it. Mars Alpha. Oh, what? So the standard head, he says. I'm surprised that's out of stock. But again, Titans are very popular. As I was saying earlier on, Gondas has got himself a Warlord as well, and I think he was saying he was yeah, I think he was same boat. He was after the Apox as well. But he got the Sun Fury and Power Claw, which was my original weapon loadout for my first and only Warlord, because I always wanted the Sun Fury Plasma Annihilator and the Ariok Power Claw because it looked as badass as anything, and I wanted the Las Blasters on the roof, and that's what I got. I have since then, because of Titan Walks, it's very rare that you have a game long enough to get a Warlord in close combat. So I swapped out the Ariok for a Volcano Cannon. Because why not? Evening chaps and chapettes. Hey, Master Mouse is in the house. Followed by Legion Mortis. Hey, hey. It isn't the Death's Heads themselves. So, I'm just doing St. Paul's because we were spraying base coat in the knights that I want to be painting. So whilst that was drying, I thought I'd just get on and do this. I'll actually change brush on that occasion. I want something slightly thicker. Hidden in the bed now, Lee. Was a pleasure as always. Take care. You too, Strike. Catch up with you again on Instagram. We post up your Titans. Always a pleasure to see them. Is it a Titan without a Sun Fury? That is the question. And to be fair, they've got why they haven't made more Titan weapons available in the bigger stuff. I have no idea. Admittedly, I'm talking very, very niche market of people would really like to have weapon options. Especially some of the stuff they've got for 80. Been building the legs for my Warlord this week. Got them all pinned and glued to place. But holy moly, getting the correct pose on the legs to be level was terrifying. First Warlord. Yeah, no, with any of the big Titans, that sort of thing, it is intimidating because it's a lot of money that you spent out and you don't want to fuck it up. But as I say, once you've got that pose down, that's when it really adds to the character of your Titan. Because you look at it and go, yeah, that's badass. Even though it is Legion Mortis. We've all got to cross the bear, I guess. I'm just to say, I've got on my screen, I've got a picture of St. Paul's that I'm trying to kind of emanate in a way, and I just can't believe I just done that. I just touched the bit where I've just washed it.
Make Titans great again. More weapons from Mr. Workshop. Yes, all the weapons. His St. Paul's really small, do you have big hands? I have big hands. But yeah, this, you know, that's a big old door for it. It's literally like the turret of the thing. Because the guys that stand on here are that size, sorry. So it's just a big gun platform, really. So that's what we're looking at so far. Ah! Shit. I really should magnetize it. But yeah. So I just wanted to get that sort of done. Well, that's majority. I feel bloody hell. I'll just put the bloody brush down. Good. Skid. Right. Yes. Wonder if the plastic Warhound Titan are true. Well, that and the plastic Thunderhawk has been going around for donkey's years. I know that obviously with Forge World, it's not working to the same capacity as it once did, because obviously all the like heresy stuff has gone over the plastic. So Forge World probably going back to what they were like before. We're just doing smaller, bespoke stuff, and Titans, I'd imagine. But it's not as if the technology doesn't exist for a big injection mold plastic kit, because Bandai have been doing it for donkey's years. As I say, I've got just behind my head in the shadows. If I do that and do that, you can just see my Gundam unicorn, mega-sized unicorn, in destroyer mode. That cost me £100, and that stands at the same height as a Reaver Titan. No glue was used whatsoever in the construction of said unicorn mech, and it's still posable as well, and you have weapons you can interchange, so it's totally doable. And with all the like the 3D printing, like they can just upscale what they've already done. Yeah, why I haven't already, I don't know. Obviously, I'm trying to get as much as possibly, but yeah, it's mind-boggling. Because, but then, how much would they price it at? You know, like a Reaver Titan from Forge World is sort of like 700 odd quid. So what was, I'm gonna have to check that up again, because I was actually shocked, because I bought my last one, it was like 2 years ago almost, and so let's
find the peers. Right. More. Oh, poop. I'll do it the other way, sorry. Hammer. Doop 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 doop. Work. Accept cookies. English, yes. Weaver Titan. Right. Oh, yeah. Las blasters, volcano cannons. Well, las blasters are £86. Volcano cannons £82.50. Where's the actual body? I think it's out of stock anyway. Apox 83. Show more. Yeah, so for the body alone, so no weapons, so you get the head at least. 655.50 for that, plus say 90 quid for each of the weapons, so that's going to be 270 on top of 700, so 900, practically 950 quid ish. Because say 300 quid for the weapons and 655 for the actual body. So yes, I think when I bought mine, that was 600 and odd quid. I'm gonna have to look that up now. Because accept cookies, yes. Hammer. Right, my account. Orders. Show more. Show me more. Show me more. Show me more. Need to show more. Few details. Right. Whew. Right. So I ordered my last one on the 25th of February 2022. The total it came to, including postage and packaging, which was free delivery over £250, but still, was £763, and that included 2 melter cannons, which was £144. So that's £72 each. The Titan itself, £550, and £69 for the Apox. So the Apox are now £86, so say 20 quid increase on that. The weapons are going to be only £12 each more. They're £86 for the 2 arm mounts, and £95 for the body. So it's a 95, 115, 24. So say £140 dearer over almost 3 years, because yeah, so end of February 2025 will be 3 years that I've had it since I bought it. Sorry. So 140 quid increase in 3 years. Fun. Hmm. Alright. Ouch. I'm going to be devilish. The most devilish devil ever. I'm going to plonk this on top. Sorry, I didn't have the chat on. It's catching up. I don't know, because say the whole thing with the certificates, it was just a nice little addition to the whole thing. You know, if you spent a lot of money on a kit like that, then it's just a nice little like add-on. You know, they might do something like that, but then same token they might not. They don't do it with Imperial Knights, do they? Not that they kind of need them. A Warhound in plastic would be 200 in plastic with guns, surely. Yeah, but this is GW we're dealing with here. So like a Warhound Titan. Okay, we'll go back. I'm just going to catch up with the chat first, and then I'll go back and we'll have a little look-see for the assembled masses. That's a Spurs football mug. There is indeed a Spurs football mug, because I am a Spurs supporter. where I'm from originally was a couple of miles down the road from White Hart Lane, and I had two older brothers, but one of them was a Spurs supporter, so obviously I didn't get a choice in that. Although there is actually a story about that, because I had to support whatever my brother Paul supported, because he's 9 years older than me, he knows more. So I was, I support Spurs. But when I was a teenager, I started sixth form, and I decided that I'm going to choose a team to support for myself. I've done the whole, we just literally had won the FA Cup, so that's quite a high, because I remember us winning stuff in like the early 80s, but that was the first one where I was really aware. I even went to the semi-final at Wembley, the first time it was ever played at Wembley, which was brilliant. For a 15-year-old kid, that was pretty glorious. It only cost £15 to go to a semi-final at Wembley. I went there with my mate Stephen. So I decided I'm going to support a team that I want to support, because I never had the choice. So I decided to follow Leeds United, because they played in the same colours as Spurs. My name is in their name, Leeds, and I liked a couple of the players that played for them. And I just heard that they've just signed this interesting French kid who was known as Le Brat in France, by the name of Eric Cantona. And I thought, he looks interesting. That's cool. So I went all in and followed Leeds United for one season, because at the end of that season, they'd won the old First Division, as it was known, because the year after, the Premier League started. And so the team that I supported for that year, I still followed Spurs, but I was, I had the training top. Leeds were my team for that year, and they go and won the whole bloody thing. So I thought, I'll quit while I'm ahead. And I went back to Spurs. I came back to Spurs full on, and apart from the odd League Cup, not done much ever since. But still, I know what it's like to win a championship. When you're 16, you're that rebellious phase, and as I said, I didn't have a choice, so I decided I'm going to support somebody else, and I did, and I won the league with them. The other thing also as well is I used to play sensible soccer, and I used to actually make my own league table, because you could create your own teams. So I had my team was Leeds United, and I used to play seasons, and basically I had all these players that played for them, like I had names for them all, sort of thing. I just lived the dream of playing that on my Commodore Amiga. How much do the Knight Lancers win in resin compared to plastic ones? Right, so originally, Knight Lancers, I think when they started, they were about 150 quid. I think it was between that and 175. So that was the ballpark. I do know how much the Porphyrion was, because this was what annoyed me back when that came out, because I wanted to buy one, and I was going to the Horus Heresy Weekender. There was all this, because I've seen the preview one the year before the Heresy Weekender, which was smaller, and then they basically upscaled it. But when you're speculating how much a model was going to be. So my speculation, based on existing models, it was the same size as, like, oh, well, a little bit shorter than a Warhound Titan. So I thought, because obviously with Warhound you've got to buy the weapons separately, so I thought, well, it's the same size and constitution, same amount of resin or whatever, maybe a bit less because there's a lot more resin to a Warhound. So I put it around about £280. I thought my wish price would be £250, but £280 would be acceptable because of the size of the model. Because a Warhound was £280 plus weapons, which were about 40 quid each at the time, or maybe 30 quid each. So yeah, it was about 30 quid each, because then that would have been 60 quid. So it would have been 340 for a Warlord with its weapons. And then they brought out the Porphyrion, and it was £320. And I just went, why would you buy it? For 20 quid more, you can have a Warhound. And that's what, it didn't make sense to my mind. If they brought it in at 280, that was a very keen price point in my mind, that they would have probably sold more of them. But when you've got that choice of paying an extra 20 quid for a Warhound Titan, I'd go for the Warhound. Why bother? You know? So, you know, that was it. Resin Lancers were 2019, weren't they? Well, that must have been recent, because I don't think I ever paid more than 175. Actually, oh, I don't know if it will show up on here, because that was a few years ago. So, oh. I don't think I've got, because there's a lot of orders, and I think there was probably around about 2017 or maybe 2016. It was whenever the Atrapos, that was the last one, because that was the last one they brought out in the Lancer type. So, because that's hard as well, because that was ordered via my mate was going to one of the open days. I had to work, so I couldn't go, and they were releasing on that particular day a lot of the Raven Guard stuff. So like the Mordathan, which is one of their elite units, was being released, and the Atrapos was also being released. And I asked my friend, because I'd been sort of putting money aside for it, because he was going up there, and he said, like, he'll pick up stuff for us. Right, so that was, oh, bloody hell. Yeah, no, I was going to do it on my phone. Where I've come out, I clicked on the one thing thinking, oh, was that what I ordered? And I just went all the way right back to the start again. And now I'm going all the way back again. Oh, bloody hell. There was a lot of orders during lockdown. But obviously this only goes back to so many years, because they changed all the accounts. Almost there. Few details. No. So it was pre whatever's on my account. I can't go back any further on that. So yeah, I think it was £175 because Imperial Knights were sort of £95, weren't they? And the resin ones, yeah, I think 175 is what they came out at initially. So if they're 219 now, then yeah, that's so where are we? Warhound Titan, wasn't it? I was also going to look at. So Warhound Titan. Yeah, so Warhound Titan body, 437.50. And I said the last one I bought was 280, and that was it wasn't at the time when I bought Porphyrion, because I bought that one afterwards. I think the last one I got was 2019. But I can't remember because I'd ordered other stuff as well with it. I only remember the price of the first one because at the Heresy Weekender they only had the body there. They had no weapons, and one of my friends actually they had one weapon. They had a turbo laser, but that was it. They had no other weapons left. They only had one turbo laser. But my friend Dave, who was also the guy who picked up the Atrapos and stuff for us, he was going over to Warhammer World from what's the name of the Belfry Hotel where the Weekender was. So he said, I'm going to go over to Warhammer World. Do you want me to pick you up anything? I said, yeah, can you pick us up a turbo laser? Which he did. So yeah. So I remember I said 280 quid. Let's look at Porphyrion. See what they are nowadays. Right. Moving on. £447.50. Jesus. Oh. Wow. Actually, let's have a look. Well, look at the photographs, sorry. Right. Hotel room. I think it was 2017 when it came out, which I'm just going to right, done.
2017. 2017. Yeah, so the Porphyrion came out in 2017. It was first unveiled or released, sorry, at the the Horus Heresy Weekender 2017. I bought one because, as I said, I wanted one because it looked cool as heck. So yeah, so what's that? Seven years the Porphyrion has been in existence, and it has gone up from 1.7, 50, take away 320. So in that 7 years, it's gone up £127.50 cost. That's fucking bonkers. It's fucking mental. Wow, that's hard to believe. Sorry, I'll keep on. Obviously, if I'm looking through on here, I'm not seeing what you're actually saying on here. Talking about new additional weapons for Titans, would you think we would get next? On big scale or small scale? So obviously in AT we've got quite a large selection of weapons. If they could bring them out in big form, that would be lovely. But I don't know, until they've sorted out what the hell's going on with Forge World, because as I say, it's not the driving force with Heresy anymore. That is purely down to Warhammer GW. So whereas before, you know, for a good 10, 12 years from the time of the Heresy's inception to now, you know, Forge World has earned a lot of money for the corporation because everyone was buying resin, and then they started doing the plastic versions. I always had, strangely enough, and when they brought out Primaris, I thought that they would separate them. So Forge World would continue producing the historical wargaming side of things, which is the Heresy. And then GW would do the Primaris as their flagship. So because there was the different rule sets as well that they used, because obviously you got 7.5 plus is the rule sets for Heresy, and then obviously we're up to, was it 10 now for 40k. So yeah, it's definitely something's happening. As I say, I'm assuming that they're just going to go back to what they were doing before, and the mother company is just going to do everything in plastic. So we will see. Would we get Titans? Would an Imperator ever turn up? I've spoken to a lot of the guys, you know, like the head guys as well. You know, that would be a big old kit at the end of the day.
So if it was to turn up, that would be astronomical. Like if like obviously the Warbringer, you know, that's the next size up that we have from a Warlord. If that was to come out, now a Warlord's going to be, yeah, 3K model easily, no shadow of a doubt. That would be £3,000. So I think Warlords are up to about 1,500. Let's have a look, seeing as we're on the page. So, Warlord Titan. So, the body, so it's no head, because the tilt plates also come with the head. No shoulder mounts, no arm mounts. So it's 1,233. Warlord Bellicose Volcano Cannon, £114. So that's 1350 for one weapon. 1464 for a second one. Shoulder mounts. Wow. So if you went, so if we was to go for my same load up, so a head, so 85, 235, 235, 235, 435, 465 plus 1230, so that's 1698. So 1,700 quid for a Warlord. War Master's going to be more than £3,000 because of the size of the fucking thing. And the weapons are going to be chunky as well. Like a War Master's weapon system is vastly bigger than a Warlord's volcano cannon. So I could easily. Oh bloody hell! Then you got the shoulder weapons as well, and the roof weapon. Well, you've got to have the roof weapon anyway, so you're stuck with that. But that, being conservative, if they were to bring out a War Master in resin from Forge World, the body alone and being a semi-conservative wish list price for the body itself, you'd be looking about 1,800 quid for just the body. I reckon the weapons, because you've got the weapons for the like Warhound weapons, and they're sort of like 50 odd quid nowadays, I think. So let's go back to Warhounds. So Warhounds. So yeah, 55 quid, say, for one of their weapons, because that's what they've got in the shoulders. So that's 110 quid for the shoulder mounts. Each of those arm weapons, I would say 200 quid. Without breaking a sweat, 200 quid. And that's semi-conservative. I could see it being more, because the size of the fucking thing, pardon my French. And I'm assuming that the missile things would come as part of the body, because luckily they don't have interchangeable roof weapons. If that was the case, oh bloody yeah, you've got the yeah. I'm going. So
So I would say nearer. Yeah, you're going to be. Yeah, because I was all starting with. Yeah, three grand would be OTT. I would put them again. I'd put about 250, two and a half. Sorry, um, is what I would speculate. But the body would be at least 1800 minimum because of the sheer size of it. Because it is a chunk. Let's see. Yeah. Because you also got the thingy in there and the roof mount weapons. So yeah, I'd put it around about 2.5 grand. And being, hopeful. Because I know at least 10 people that would buy one instant it was announced that it was being released. They're waiting. They are literally waiting for a War Master to be announced as an actual thing to come out and be set loose upon us. Oh, pardon me. It is just bonkers. I remember, obviously, there are 3D prints of War Masters, full-scale War Masters. Obviously, they're not as nice looking as a proper kit would be. But, yeah, it's a damn shame. But, that's the thing. You just don't know with these this model company anymore. It doesn't make sense anymore. I suppose that's probably why I've stuck with just like AT. I've still got a lot of like unopened fucking, pardon my French, like Sicarans, Predators. Because when I was doing my Alpha Legion project, I basically bought a load of bits and pieces in preparation to do them, and then I've got to that certain level and I just got bored of it because I wasn't playing Heresy that often, and when I do, I kind of want to play Emperor's Children. I really love my Alpha Legion. I'm not gonna lie, I really do. I think they're awesome, but yeah, the Emperor's Children is where my heart is. I love those guys. Those crazy, crazy dudes. I'm pretty chuffed with that. Sorry. It's been one of those days. I'll possibly get in plastic Fulgrim because I was on to Forge World and Games Workshop for when they announced, hey, look, we've got Fulgrim Transcended, or Old Snake Hips, as I always called him. And although the model is frighteningly awesome, I would break those wings easily. But the reason they brought that out as the first of the transformed Primarchs, as such, is because once they brought out plastic Emperor's Children,
he's the last of the plastic Primarchs, the Demon Primarchs. So they had to get out the Forge World one first to make money on it, and then they'll bring out the plastic one, which will probably be, there was rumours or you know, a part of the roadmap, Emperor's Children January or something like that. So we will get a plastic Fulgrim, and that's the one I will probably be going for, because less likely to break the bloody thing. Because at the end of the day, he's still transformed. He's still a Demon Primarch. It's not going to be that much difference. If you look at, you know, Magnus the Red in plastic, he's pretty cool. Mortarion, pretty cool. Obviously, a certain Mr. Ron, Angry Ron, he's pretty fantastic. So, and you'll say, like, even with the Primarch models, like the Lion, in comparison to Goodman, the Lion in plastic is pretty awesome. So I have high hopes that our friends, Mr. Fulgrim, will look amazing and beautiful, as you would expect from a man of such taste and rarity. But that's why we've had that model released from Forge World. They've got the other ones already done. That's the thing. Like, if you think back, there's not been that many new releases from Forge World. It's been mostly specialist game stuff. There's a lot of people that work there, and those models have been sitting around. Like, I always remember chatting with some of the guys from Specialist Games. I'm not going to name names, but the first Warlord Titan, you know, before its release in 2015, there was a Warlord Titan that used to sit in at Forge World meetings, and I think they named it Steve. It had a place at the table, so whenever they had their meetings in the meeting room, Steve the Warlord was sitting there. You know, it might have been Dave, but it was Steve or Dave. It was something common like that. But there was a place set for Warlord Titan, and that was before its release. So obviously, most models are in existence. I would say at least a physical model is going to be sitting there 6 to 9 months before release. So I'm only going off of what I knew for the War Master, because I knew of the War Master's existence about 18 months or just under before it was released. And I knew that there was a model kit probably 9 months before it was released. So obviously, like, things like COVID put things back, because that might have been released earlier. So at least there was a physical kit at least 9 months before its actual release. Going to pick up a Warbringer next year. Warbringers actually really, like, when they first came out and everyone was going, "Oh, the head is really mean." Once I got hold of one, which I picked up at what was the event? Leisure Walks in 2020, before COVID actually came into being. I really liked it. When you've actually got one, it's really, really quite cool. And yeah, and once I played with it in a game of AT, I got a lot of respect for that thing, because it is like a Reaver, but a little bit tougher. Not as fast, but you got a Warlord class weapon on its roof. What's not to love? And my favourite loadout for a Warbringer is 2 Las Blasters and Quake Cannon. I just love Quake Cannons. You know, they've served me well in AT, especially. Plus, they don't generate heat, so that's handy. And if you've got no shields, that thing's going to make you dance. Oh, tempted to take twin Volk. Why do people want to hurt themselves? Can I say, you know, you're rolling that like in AT when you're rolling reactor dice. That's 3 reactor dices. Especially obviously if you're firing all 3 like Alpha Strike. If you have a bad run, you could have like 6 reactor going off. That's you in the red, practically, in one turn of shooting. I've never got my head around why people are obsessed with having 2 Reaver class ones and then the Bellicosa on the top. Like to see more yeah, I would like to see more Carapace weapons. It's also, I would like more options on the arm mounts as well. You know, I'm also a big fan of melter cannons for them, but I always like the twin Las Blasters. That's 6 shots, possibility of shield stripping. Admittedly, you know, at range you're at -1 for anything over 17 inches. But it's a nice loadout because you can still, obviously, you got your blast template with your Quake Cannon. You got shield stripping, and 6 shield stripping shots are handy, you know. So it's definitely something worth taking, and it looks kind of cool with, like, you know, 6 barrels just going, yeah. Haven't played AT yet, to be honest. It's my favorite game. I love playing AT. It's tremendous. I say it's more cinematic. Some little warhounds. So put that over there. So that's the last Titan I've painted. That's one that I did actually paint this one. This is one that this was Ivy's first one that she painted. She was doing the Lords of Ruin faction of the Volcanum, which is it's more of a mossy green and that. And this is the experiment. And again, it was one that she gave me, and I thought, I'm not painting that. That's staying as it is. So that's part of my Volcanum. An extra Warhound base, the Lords of Ruin, not Darkfire, which are the teal greeny ones. Remind me, at Wolves, do you play AT rules? Yes, we do. So traditionally, we've gone with like a lighter version. So we never included falling, and we've done a dumbed down version of explosion results because in 2019 one Titan basically took out itself, badly damaged several, and killed another 3 with chain reactions. And when that happened to like the overall head of the Titans Owners Club, didn't help that we was like laughing so much at him and calling him our MVP because he was on the traitor side. So he just thought, you know, if you've got somebody at a walk with just 1 Titan and they get taken out by somebody else exploding, it's a bit of a Debbie Downer. So we sort of softened it. You can still take damage, but you can't do
a Diana Ross, basically getting caught in the middle of a chain reaction. So that's what we did for several years. In recent walks, have been doing full rules, so that's basically Legio rules and mana pool rules, and full, basically like falling and explosions. And they've kind of worked, because the thing is when you haven't got somebody playing and they don't know the rules, it slows it all down. With a lot of stop, and the games are hard enough to keep track of. Like, obviously, you know, if you've got a full mana pool, then you've got to maintain that, see what you're up against, and because there's so many moving parts, it's quite tricky. So we try to keep it as simple as possible, but now the vast majority of people attending are sort of, you know, practically veterans. There's still times when you, like, if it's a special weapon, sometimes you go, oh, I need to check up what the hell that does. But in general, you know what you're dealing with. You've got all the information on your Titan command terminal. So it's just one of those things that you've got everything you need to know is there. You've got a hot sheet that you've got to reference all like orders and explosions and machine spirit stuff. So you can, you know, play it quite smoothly. So the walk we done at the, what do you call it, London GT back in September, that was fairly straightforward, easy going, because the people participating, you know, was, you know, just really easy to sort of play. You know what you're doing, so it flows easier. There's still a lot of debate within the game, within the admin, about, at one stage we were doing, like, if you die in the first turn, you recycle, sort of things. But again, especially if you've only got one Titan. And we was also doing limiting the shots. So in an active phase, because there's so many Titans on there, we would work out how many people were involved, how many Titans are involved, and then you'd go, okay, so each phase, or activation wise, each side, say, do 2 activations each. So instead of just doing 1 activation, you do 2 or 3 activations. Actually, I think we was working on 3 activations, because again, amount of Titans in it. So you do 3, I do 3. You do 3, I do 3. But in each activation, so in those 3 activations, 3 different Titans, they can't shoot at the same target, sort of thing. The only time that is allowed, technically, is as a squadron, because squadrons have to activate at the same time, technically. So that way, you know, that's mostly going to be Warhounds. So, but with that, you'd split the Warhound mana pool. So if you had 5 Warhounds, which some people have, they could only do a maximum of 3, and then the second is at obviously the remainder, sort of thing. So on a different phase. So if it's in a different activation, then those 2 that didn't fire in the first activation can then fire at the same target. They don't have to shoot at the same target. You can shoot at whatever you want. Even a squadron doesn't have to shoot the same target. They can shoot 5 independent targets, or they can all fire at the same target, at which point they will get a bonus to their armor penetration rolls. But you know, we're trying to keep it light and friendly and not too, you know, overwhelming to players, especially new players as well, because they've got to deal with all these personalities that they're meeting.
and play a game against them, which is quite intimidating at times. You know, especially like imagine meeting me. I'm as intimidating as you like. But yeah, we just try to make it as easy and you know, less hassle all round. It's very rare that in a single day you manage to get more than 3 turns at most because of the amount of titans involved. And we do, like on big like walks and stuff, you do split down the battlefield. So like on our biggest battlefield, which is like 52 feet by 16 feet, we would split that down into 3 different battles to make it easier to control. So you're not getting overwhelmed and it's not too confusing and it's more easy to manageable. So we do like game balance between whoever's got what, because they're looking at, before a walk we want to know what you're actually physically bringing to a walk so we can allocate points. So again, if somebody's got a single titan, we will try to buddy him up or her with another princeps to make their squad more maniple size, sort of thing. So that way you've got somebody to lean on. Just ordered an AT rulebook. Honestly, I think the first walk I'd ever go to, I'd be too scared to walk on the mat or move my titan around. It's a little bit sort of scary to start with, but if you've built it correctly, you've got nothing to worry about. On the mats, you do have to take your shoes off. Although a lot of the guys are now investing in some slippers, because these are cloth mats, so they can get damaged if you've got, you know, shoes, trainers, stuff like that. So yes, official slippers are allowed. But yeah, you soon get over it. But is having that spatial awareness, because you not only get titans to worry about, you've also got the scenery. Although the scenery is not as expensive as a titan, and there has been, and I've done this myself. I've kicked over my warlord by accident. I'd gone, when you're doing your dice rolls, we want you to go to your person you're shooting with your little dice tray and roll in front of them so they can see what you're rolling, so there's no, you know, faffing of results. You go there and you go, there you go, you see what I've rolled, that's 1, 2, 3 hits, that weapon on that titan, do your slaving throws with your modifiers or whatever. And then they'll do the same, they'll roll the dice in front of you. So you know exactly what's going on, they know exactly what's going on, there's no, you know, sneakiness or whatever like that. And then you just back and forth. So when I was doing that particular thing, rolling dice, as I've walked back, I've turned and I've clipped my titan with my knee. I actually hurt my knee. So I've actually kicked that. That's toppled off over. So because it's magnetized, so I've popped the top bit off. The only damage was one of the Ardex defense lasers. One of the barrels got broken off. Another bit, and some of the pipes for the cables for the Sun Fury Plasma Annihilator basically broke. But it took me 2 minutes and some super glue to get it back together again. But it was more the initial shock of doing it, because it's not the first time I've kicked my warlord over. And the first time I did it, I'd done a lot more damage. And Iracundus, where I had it on its previous base, which was actually this here. So this was the Iracundus's original display base that it was on, and it had some brass rod, because in the feet there's holes, so you should like push it down onto them, and it would give it a stable platform. So the last time I used this was actually the first time I used this, which was 2022. No, 2020. Yeah, 2022 walk. Sorry. And as I was moving it, I noticed that one of its feet had sort of rose up on the rod. So I thought, oh, that's not good. That could be a tipping hazard. So as I've gone to just funnel it back down onto it, the top section that's fallen forward, I've dropped like a Premier League goalkeeper and to catch it, which I kind of did, but I obviously it didn't damage, it didn't break it, didn't damage it, but it was more the shock value of it happening, and it freaked the fuck out of me. So that sort of like, whew, you know, the old squeaky mum time, as they call it. But at last year's 2023's main walk, there was an incident where one of our friends was walking on the mat, and they said, "Oh, you're careful of the warlord." And, yeah, no worries, sort of thing. And then as they're doing their dice rolling, he's backed into it. It's gone over, and he has basically virtually exploded. It's oversimplifying it. It's several parts of it broke, and yeah. Obviously, he was like, ah, like that. But the owners of said warlord said, "Oh no, that's fine. We was thinking about, we wanted to repose it anyway. So you've actually saved us the job," because they weren't happy with the pose of the legs. So he's literally just obliterated this thing, and they went, "Oh no, that's fine. You know, we was going to dismantle it anyway. You just saved us the job," because there was a lot of clean breaks. So it wasn't like mullered. But if you're working with those sort of kits, even if you did like break a bit, sort of thing, you'd know how to repair it and deal with it. Like I did when I kicked. I literally just like virtually drop kicked the warlord. Because I walked into it, because I forgot I pull it down where I pull it down, and I literally just walked around straight into it, and there were several parts which were kind of like chipped and that, and I couldn't find the bits for it because this was at work, but you know, I managed, once I'd stopped internally screaming, I got the bits together and basically repaired them. It is as good as new. So they are quite tough and robust, but yeah, you've got to learn that good old spatial awareness. Note to self: order comfy slippers. Yes. Biggest kit I've built is an Astraeus. Do you recommend starting with a Warhound? Oh, then Marius, so you're sneaking in there, sorry. Yeah, so each kit has its pluses and minuses. Now, with a Warhound, it's the feet. There's a lot of parts involved with feet, plus it's the posing of the feet, because a lot of people have their Warhounds flat-footed, and as the designer of it has said several times, they're not meant to be flat-footed, they're meant to be on their toes. So where you see like that sort of thing, that the main part of the foot is not on the floor, the toes take the brunt. So you've got these toes down, that is off the floor, and then you have the other foot which is raised anyway. It's a stalking predator of a Titan, very feral, and that's what you want, sort of thing, when you're building it. So you don't have them
flat-footed. You always have like that, basically, is how you've got. So that's your bit, and then your heel and the toes. But those toes, you've got the front, you've got the middle, and then you've got a little section that plugs into the main sort of foot area. So a lot of parts, and when you're using sort of like super glues, obviously it dries quickly. So you use like something to rest the foot on. Then you do the feet. You've got to do the little pistons as well, because there's several pistons per toe, or at least 3 to 4 pistons, and you've got to connect them and have them sit. So very fiddly. Reaver, not so fiddly on the toes because they're little like hoofs type toes, but you want to get the pose right, and that's the thing. A lot of the time you get Titans and the pose is just off because of the way they built it. So you want to make sure you've got like a scaffold, really. You want to basically rest parts here, get the feet up, angle, dry fit to see how it's going to look, and then get them in the position that you think is right. But it's like when you get a lot of reverse leg sort of looks, that's just wrong. So definitely look up for inspiration from what's out there, because obviously everyone and their mother have painted and posted up their whips and stuff, but it does give you a valuable source of information to work with to get your Titan looking just right. Oh my god, that would be dreadful if it was an accident. Yeah. It's scary. That's interesting. I've always considered difficulty was smallest to biggest. Yeah, the difficulty. Yeah, I would say the feet on the Warhound is probably one of the most challenging parts of a Titan build. The body section is a dream. It's like 5 pieces. 1, 2, 3. 4, 5. Yeah, so the main parts is about 5 pieces. You've got some little add-ons like the weapons mounts. But yeah, it's basically with Warhounds in the resin kit. It's an old kit, so it can be a little bit gappy sort of thing. So you make sure you fill them. But the torso section itself is just a dream. You want to make sure you've got the right tools as well. Make sure you've got proper marks for when you're cutting resin as well, especially if you're using electrical tools to cut them down and sand them and stuff. But yeah, it's that's the easy part. Even the head is fairly straightforward as well. But the most important thing with any Titan is the position of the legs, because it's that gives you the sense of motion. You know, the top section's piece of piss. Even a Reaver, even a Warbringer, even a Warlord, top section, piece of piss. You've got nothing to worry about. It's all about the legs. So even when I've built like AT ones, I always start with the legs because the pose is what tells the story. So if you get a good pose with the legs, it gives you the sense of motion, dynamism, and you know, if you get a pose just right, it looks the absolute duck's chuds. It looks fantastic, and that's what you want it to be. So you don't want. A lot of people I've seen, like even on like a friend of mine, his Warlord, he done one of the legs is sort of like that, So that's the knee, not that. So it's, yeah, it looks odd. Like one leg's going forward, the second one's like, it's like the knee's gone backwards on itself. So again, if you just even look at like the mod AT stuff, how they're standard pose, and then just try and do variants with it, you know. But yeah, that's where the work really is, to get the pose is everything, in my opinion, because as I say, like, you know, I've built a lot of Titans, as you all know, but not all of them are the same. So it's like with Warhounds, for example, as you can see this one. So one raised foot, one planted foot. It's transitioning the weight onto this. So I try to put the head or the body facing the way the leg's leading, and then the head turn that way. What I would normally do is to throw it off, would have that head facing that way opposite. So it's at a conjunction away from the way it's walking. So it's like doing it's a cross between the Velociraptor from Jurassic Park and the Alien Queen. So you know when Ripley's having a fight with the Alien Queen and she chins it with the power loader, and it's like heads like that, and then it goes like that. You just turn sharply the opposite way its body's facing. So I do that quite a lot with Warhounds. So you have its motion going one way, but the head's shifted as if it's like, I can sense prey over there, sort of thing. But it's fairly simple, like with AT stuff. The other thing is I always would shift the foot position around. So if you put that foot on the lead leg, it would tip forward a little bit more, so it's like it's in a sprint. So any of my Titans you look on, like my Instagram or Facebook or whatever, you will see ones that have that fluid motion, or as if it's pelting it. It will always have that raised foot on that lead leg, and then that will be sort of more forward as it's sort of galloping. This is like stalking mode, so that's a pretty standardized leg position, same as that one. That's the standard. But what you can also do with these guys is swap the legs across, so they lock in differently in those bits onto the thing. So it gives you another sort of way to sort of jazz up the look. So if there's another motion, is that if I did swap the legs across, I had the right leg on the left leg and the left leg on the right leg, then that foot would be the flatter foot would be used for that, because that would be tipping forward more. And if you added that, then it would make it tip too far forward. That would be unrealistic. So it's just a little subtle mucking about, no cutting or anything. It's just literally just swap the legs over. Who has the largest collection of Titans at the TOC? Sif to have a lot of them. Sif, yeah, he's definitely one of them, because he's bought other people's Titans. A lot of the Titans, he's also got like the most of them. He's gone out to find certain numbers. So he's got, I think he's got number 10 Warbringer, number 10 Warlord, and might have number 10 Reaver, for all I know. But basically that's what he's gone out looking for. I think it's going to be someone like Engine Phil, Simon Winters, and Lydon Proctor. They're the ones that have
the most individual Titans each. Oh, and Martin Strickfast as well, but not all of his are built and painted. All the others are. So I know Leiden's got at least 10. I think Phil's got a few more. But then I'm not sure if he's counting ones that he's in possession of as well. But yeah, so those 4 people, definitely Simon Winters has got a very large Mortis force. A couple of Warlords, Reavers, Warbringer, and a few Hounds. But yeah, he's got quite a bit. Oh, and Dave Halfpenny, which I think his IG tag is that camo guy. He's got a large Warmongers battle force, and he actually does 3D prints like some of the other weapons for himself. So he has like Ursus claws for his Warhounds, as well as he likes to experiment with the old style weapons and incorporate them into modern gaming, which is, because it's not part of the AT rules. Like, he has got a shield stripper Reavers, which basically has 3 APOCs. So, like the old ones, you usually have APOCs you can have on the arms. He's got them plus 1 on top. So it's 15 shield shots he's doing with his APOCs per turn. Yes, as if it's taking a shot and it's turned in surprise. Yeah, exactly. It can just conveys motion. I'm with you. What's the rarest Titan or type of Titan, if there is such a thing? I would say it would probably, like in existing model range ones, it's really the Dire Wolf, because the vast majority of Titan Legios are battle line heavy Titans. So like all the big boys sort of thing, such as like Mortis, Tempestus, Ignatum, and even to like Furians and all that sort of thing. They are mostly known as being battle line Titan Legios or heavy Titan Legios. So Mortis has the most Warlords. It's the heaviest amount of Titans in its Legio. So mostly Warlords, Warbringers, Reavers with a smattering of Warhounds. The same as Ignatum. Ignatum is a heavy Titan Legio. It even says it has a small number of Warhounds for scout purposes. So out of the 200 engines it could muster, you're probably only looking around about 20 to 30 of them are going to be Warhounds. Because it's mostly heavy Titans. So Dire Wolves would be even less so. Obviously, War Masters are a fairly newish appearance, so we don't really know what extent. Obviously, Mortis had a lot of them, because they got all the good shit from the Fabricator General. But Imperators were rare as rocking horse shit, especially post Heresy, because most of them got killed in the Heresy. I think Sanguinius is responsible for 2 of them being killed. I was joking, but like in the Siege of Terror books,
Sanguinius has the highest kill count of Titans out of everything out of the entire Siege and Horus Heresy series. Because you don't see Dai's Ire kill any other Titans. You don't see a lot of Titan war. Most of the Titan fighting you see is in Mechanicum, which is Mortis versus Tempestus. There was some fighting in Vengeful Spirit, but the biggest kill in that was the Paragon of Terror, when he got shot in the arse, or stabbed in the arse by all the House Divine Knights when they betrayed them. Trying to think of other Titan engagements. Apart from Titan Death. But again, there's not a lot of, Titans being... Well, the Titans being killed, but you don't know who's killed who, sort of thing. There's only a couple of mentions of certain Titans killing another Titan. But yeah, so technically, I think Sanguinius is the biggest killer of Titans in the entire Siege and Heresy stories. I know Fulgrim killed a Warhound Titan on his own. By literally, saying that, he basically shot the crew through the armor glass of a Warhound. So, technically a Titan kill. But yeah, it's one of those things. How many have you got? So big Titans, I've got 5. So I've got an Axiom Maniple. So 2 Hounds, 2 Reavers, 1 Warlord. Or I can always add Knights to it and make it into a Dominus Maniple, which is cool. I'm sure ADB put that in for you specifically. How did it feel for him to include your name's Titans? I think I heard he did that right. Yeah, so basically, Aaron, I'm friends with Aaron. So every year I go over to for his birthday celebrations along with a few other friends and that. So we've been friends for a long while through mutuals and all that, and then actually meeting and as well as talking online. But yeah, so I can actually officially call him a friend because he is a friend. I've got his phone number if I wanted to, if I felt I needed to. Not that I do. I don't go around just phoning random people. But yeah, we text occasionally. It's very hard to nail down because he's doing a lot of work. But Aaron messaged me and went, "Dude, I wanna put you in one of my books, sort of thing, as a character, but Lee Marshall isn't really a 40k kind of name. So, have you got anything else that you would like to have named in there?" So I thought, "Whoa, fucking hell, man!" So just really fucking cool. So I went, yeah, because I have, for a while, I had a sort of a pseudonym for 40k. It was my Magos tech priest sort of designation, which is Lambda Mu 13. Is my Mechanicum designation. So I went, yeah, my Mechanicum designation, I named myself, is Lambda Mu 13. And he's gone, yeah, that's cool. That's definitely workable. Okay, I'll do something with that. I went, oh, cheers, yeah, chuffed as fuck. And it was a couple of weeks later, I was thinking about it, and I just thought, actually, sod it. So I just messaged him. I said, look, dude, I know, like you said about like a name and all that sort of thing, but could you just use Iracundus? Because
most people associate Iracundus with me anyway, because it's my Titan. People know of Iracundus because of, you know, it's the original Disco Reaver, you know, with the sound system that, again, was, you know, at the Horus Heresy 2015 when I took it down there. And as Andy Hoare said in one of the old Warhammer TV slots, when they used to do like unveil stuff and all that, when they unveiled Iracundus as a Titan of Legend card, that was surreal in itself, because I had no idea about that. Andy, again, I've known Andy for donkey's years, and again, he's a friend, you know. So he messaged me. He says, "Oh, like, are you going to be watching the thing, like the Heresy thing on Warhammer TV today?" "Oh yeah, I always watch him," sort of thing. He says, "Oh right, okay. It's just there might be something there that might be of interest of you." And when he said that, I just thought, "Ooh, is that like, you know, Fire Wasps are going to get mentioned at last," sort of thing, because he knows I'm House Tyrannus and Ignan. So when I watched that and they unveiled the Engine of Legend stuff, and then we come to the last one saying, "Oh, and the last one is a special one. It's from the Legio. It's a Reaver Titan from the Legio Ignatum, and its name is Iracundus." And I was in the middle of a McDonald's with my kids. I just picked them up from school and literally sitting down eating our burgers whilst I'm watching on my phone like this presentation. I'm like, oh, this is really cool. This sounds really cool. I like this idea. Little character engines and all that. And it didn't actually hit until he actually said Iracundus, and I literally went like that in a McDonald's. And I'm like, oh my god, and I even I remember typing in that, "Oh my Omnissiah," sort of thing, like, I can't believe this, sort of thing. So that was a surprise, but I knew, I said, with Aaron, he specifically asked me, and I said, yeah, well, could you do that? Because the thing with Iracundus, my friend because I didn't paint, I did paint Iracundus, but it wasn't great. And because Reaver Titans was such a big thing for me, because it was my favourite Titan engine, I wanted it to look awesome, and I didn't have the skill sets to deal with it back then. So like 2010, something like that. So I built most of it, I painted it, it looked nothing how I'd hoped, and I got into a cycle where I wanted to be the best thing, but I couldn't do it justice, and it was just freaking me out. And my friend Chris Booth had just started doing like commission paint, so I just finally just went, "Chris, I know you've just set up your commission paint. Do you paint big models?" And he said, "Why? What you got?" And I sent him a picture of Iracundus. I say it was a basic. You know, it had red, it had hazard stripes and all that. I do put myself down to it. It wasn't great, not to how I envisioned and wanted it to be. And he basically said, "Give it to me now." So I drove down to his, dropped it off. He had it for a few months because he was like setting up this thing and all that. And he so like, "Is it alright if I use like photos to offer promote my thing?" "Yeah, whatever. You know, you're doing me a favour." And obviously just let us know how much and all that sort of stuff. So he done that. The first time he sent a picture over of of the cockpit, and the detail he put into that cockpit with all the dials and all that sort of thing, I literally cried, like tears of joy at seeing it, because it was beautiful. And then as it sort of evolved, how it looks, you know, fan freaking touch, like all those flames and all that sort of stuff. It was brilliant. And it was the best thing I ever did, and it only cost me the cost of the paints. So he painted a Reaver Titan for about 38 quid. and unfortunately, so he died a few years ago, and Iracundus is like, you know, is a symbol of him, and it's nice that from that generous thing he did, he saved me from going doolally. He done a excellent paint job with that, and everyone still loves seeing him and that. But it's just like, it's a memorial as well, you know, because all the people that remember Chris remember every time they see Iracundus, they remember Chris, and the fact that through me being me and being friends with people within like Games Workshop, specialist games, Forge World, and all that, that they'd basically like rewarded me in the ways they have by having him as a named character in Adeptus Titanicus, and then Aaron being kind enough to make him appear as a named engine within one of his books as well. That was awesome, you know. Obviously, I'm not going to talk about the book, which is Echoes of Eternity, which is a really, really cool book, because I'm a big fan of Arkham Land and Zephon. But it's, you know, it's just, you know, I've just been really lucky, fortunate sort of thing, you know, to have had these sort of things, you know, given to me, you know, hashtag blessed, in a lot of respects. But Iracundus, I said, when you mention Iracundus, as I said, most people will know, if they know anything about Titans, they know Iracundus, and they know me because of a Titan that my friend Chris Booth painted for me. All the Forge World people knew of Iracundus, not necessarily by name, but after that 2015 visit to Horus Heresy Weekend, my first one that I went to, and we put it on the display. It was myself, my friend Scott, who I went with, and I'd met Benjamin Greaves there by chance at one of the seminars, because I'd asked a question about Tyrannus, if they was going to make like the shoulder pads, because they'd done it with House Terry, but they'd never done it with anything else. And I was asking if they'd done that, and he was like sitting like a row or two in front of me, and he sort of collared me because he didn't know who I was. He said, "Oh, you asked about the Tyrannus things, didn't you?" I said, "Well, yeah." I said, and like, I've got House Tyrannus as well. I went, "Oh, that's cool." I said, "Oh, we've got ours with us," and I was meant to be meeting up with Paul Rudge, who was one of the guys who works for Forge World doing like decals and stuff, because he had his house. Is it Mobidia? Not Mobidia. It's one of the. It was another trait house. Because me and him was in an arms race, and we said, like, let's meet up, get all the time, nights out together. And Scott went, "I'll bring mine with us," and then it just so happened that Ben had his there as well, and I invited him along. And unfortunately, didn't realise that Paul wasn't going to be there for the Sunday, so we just put on a little display in one of the game rooms. I got Iracundus out. I had my Mechanicum forces with me as well. So we'd done like a little diorama using one of the Forge World gaming tables that it had there. And we were being visited by authors, by Forge World employees. Yeah, Tony Cottrell came down, was taking photographs of this thing. And Andy Hoare messaged me the following week afterwards and was saying, like, because that's when I had the speaker system put in, well, the Bluetooth speaker in Iracundus. So when everyone was going up to look at Iracundus, I'm on the phone and setting off the war horn sort of thing, and then like so seeing their faces just light up, going, "Wow, did that do that?" sort of thing. And so Andy messaged me and said, "You never guess who's been featured in the internal Forge World newsletter for after the event, sort of thing." and there was a picture of apparently Iracundus on there, and just saying about, this is, this is what we want. This is like inspirational sort of thing. People to bring their models in, see them in that situation, stands out, and like really sort of like bigging up the community sort of thing. This is what we want. Is basically what Forge World wanted, people to go out and bring their Titans and do that sort of stuff. So that was also the same weekend as the inaugural formation of the Tyrannus Owners Club. So that was the 8th of the 2nd, 2015, in the Blood Games room at the Belfry Hotel, where me, Ben, and Scott basically said, "Hey, let's make this a thing," and we created the Tyrannus Owners Club. Titans Owners Club came several months after that. I think like July. The first, because there was 2 Titans Owners Clubs. There was a Facebook one and there was the blog, and they both came out very close to each other. But the original TOC is the Tyrannus Owners Club, so we were first. So it's, yeah, I've been very lucky to have met some awesome hobbyists, some awesome people, authors, model makers, painters, and I've just been, I've been very lucky. Just right place, right time, and I think it's also helpful that I'm not a dick. I'm as enthusiastic in a hobby as you all are, and that is something that I think we should all strive to be. Like, we do this hobby, keep us out of trouble, and because we enjoy it. We love the lore, we love the background, we love the stories. It's something that once you meet somebody, as soon as you find out that they also do 40k or heresy or that, you start up a conversation talking about, what's your favourite this, what's your favourite that. But you can do that without being a dick. Just have a good time, enjoy your hobby. Don't get too stressed out over things. It's a nice life. I've been doing this for 30 odd years. I've only just become a decent painter in the last 10, and I'm still not a great painter, but I'm happy with my stuff, and that's all I focus on. Is if I like it, that's all that matters. But as I say, having Iracundus become what it has become is as you say, it is a memorial. It is a tribute, because Chris was a really, he's a good painter, he's an excellent painter, but he was also a great community builder, and he had a great gaming community down where he used to live, and everybody, it wasn't too much for him to help out anybody. They were struggling. I'd run around his house a couple of times just literally sit there painting. Weren't really talking. It was in his front room. His wife and his kids were over in the lounge part. We was in the sort of dining room part. It was a big through lounge sort of thing. He's one side of the room painting his little thing. I'm on the table painting there, back to back. Just occasionally just a general chat, just peaceful, calm. But he wouldn't do that for anyone. He would, if you wanted to hang out and paint, yeah, come down, hang out and paint. It was just a nice human being all around. And I think we should all do something like that through weather. I know it's harder nowadays, we're all very insular and all that sort of stuff, but whenever you're in a social communal situation sort of thing, just say hello, smile at somebody's model that they've painted and took time and effort on. It's just little things like that. It just makes it all, the whole community, a whole lot better. But yeah, it keeps us entertained, and
you know, it's nice to have that little escape. Reality's a bit shit at the best of times. So why not think about giant robots going around kicking the shit out of things? It's worse things to be thinking about. Immortalize it for eternity in heresy lore. Yeah, I like to think so. You know, it's and as far as I'm concerned, you know, there's more to come from Iracundus. I've written my own personal official history of Iracundus, which goes up to the Siege of Terror. So, and I said to Aaron, look, you're in charge of him now. I hand over control to you. Do whatever you want. Do whatever you will. You know, I know from bitter experience, say bitter experience, not bitter experience, that if you ever did get the opportunity to have a character named in a book, they don't come out of that book. They will die. Every author does it because basically they don't want like a character that they haven't technically created to become popular. Because then they're getting asked all these questions about something that's not their creation. So I do appear also in a book that Graham McNeil wrote, whereas I'm a captain of the 24th Company Ultramarines during the Mark of Calth anthology. In his book, Calth That Was, by the name of Captain Octavius Brucius. And he has a little sort of scene or two in one of the underground I can't remember the names of them, the places where everyone was hiding, all the refugees and all that sort of shit. So Captain Octavian Brucius of the 24th Company Ultramarines is moi. So that was just, I asked him for that because, again, friends with Graham. And as soon as I heard that he was writing that, I literally just messaged him and said, can I name a character? Can I have a character in there? And he said, I'll think about it. And then he emailed me a couple of weeks later and went, okay, what's the name do you want? So I gave him a name, which was a character that I created for my Death Watch roleplay game that I was playing in, for an Ultramarine tactical dude. But he put him in there, made him a captain. It didn't end well, and that's what he said. He sent an email a few days later and went, got him in there, doesn't end well. Yeah. I know you are, Marius. But yes, so Octavian Brucius of the 24th Company. I like to think that he is the toughest Ultramarine ever, because it took a thermonuclear device to stop him. But yeah, it's glorious days. I'm just looking forward to the scouring now, because that's happening. It's totally going to happen. You can't stop writing books, 50 books of the heresy plus the extra sort of 10, 12, or we actually got that other one, the other anthology that's coming out, the one that there was a picture leaked a few months ago, and then Valrak confirmed the leak the other day because it appears in the list of books for the Siege of Terror. So it's an anthology collection book. So one more limited edition hardback coming out, the Era of Ruin. That's it. Um, so got that, and then we've got the Scouring, because it absolutely makes financial sense. Keep all those authors in the lifestyle that they've become accustomed to keep them writing, because the Scouring is quite, big. Maybe not as big as the Heresy. So I could see at least another, I would say 12 to 20 books with the Scouring. Literally focusing like a book for each of the legions and then connecting, and also you've got the Liberation of Mars. So you can't kill me. Tactical nuke goes up, boom. But it was pretty much. It was. The thing is, it's just like literally. He just throws back the covers. There's the countdown clock as it hits 1, and then he just goes. Suit registers a surge in radiation, and then. So yeah, what a way to go! It was beautiful. But yeah, so Octavian Brucius and Iracundus. Aaron did name the crew. He did ask me, I said, "Oh, you got a name for the Princeps?" And I went, "Oh yeah, I've got one." So I gave him it, but he didn't use it. He used one of his own devising, which, to be fair, when he sent that over to me, saying like, "Oh, here you go, here's the name of the dude," I went, Shiva McCool. I thought, I like the sound of that. Shiva, goddess of destruction. Did you see the leak for the? Yeah, that's what I was just saying, because I saw the thing years ago, well months ago, but I wasn't aware of another book. I knew that there was 3 books for the End of the Death, but I didn't know there was another book after. So yeah, that was a surprise, and obviously it was, I think, last week that Valrak confirmed it, because somebody had another book and it had Era of Ruin in the blurb, so it's official. Yeah, because I think it was even Games Workshop actually did it, didn't they? They showed off something and it had it on there. So once that's out of the way, because that should be like the aftermath, or the short stories. I think one of them might have been somewhere. I can't remember. I've really got to look into it. I just haven't bothered. I've been too busy work. But I'm looking forward to them going down the Scouring side of things, because obviously it's picking up everything's gone to shit. The Emperor is interred into the Golden Throne, and it's all looking a little bit cray-cray. But then it's going to be Guilliman leading the charge, and Dawn, the Khan, probably a little bit more with the Raven Guard, because obviously everything's smaller now. We've got a tiny legion, but we can still go after things, and obviously see, Fort of Caliban. That's going to be interesting, because that's something to write home about. So, but yes, I'm still sad Guilliman and his fleet didn't really get
a mention in the siege. His old law had them as quite a sort. Well, the whole thing about him was like obviously he never made it for the siege, but it was his imminent arrival along with the Space Wolves and the Dark Angels, which was alluded to was why Horus dropped the shields, because he was running out of time. So all the time that he had to get there and do the thing, and Terra held, it was his final gambit, sort of thing. Because you were dealing with a full-strength Ultramarines Legion, because they stated he was basically, when he first sort of shows up in the Siege of Terror books, it's basically inferred that the Legion is back to full strength. So in the sort of the 10, 12 years since Calth, because the one thing, and obviously the Shadow Crusades, one thing going out there and killing millions and millions of people and all that sort of shit, but the Ultramarines still had 500 worlds to recruit from, with the most organised motherfucker in the galaxy at its head. So it's no wonder that they was able to rebuild to such levels in that sort of length of time. Most of like the main system of Ultramar, so the main planets weren't that badly mauled during the Shadow Crusade. So they still had quite a lot of resources and stuff to kick out and rearm and re-equip and go about doing their stuff. And obviously there was the population were all fucking like directed in that sort of sense as well, on purpose. So when you've got 250,000 angry Ultramarines bearing down on you, plus the Dark Angels and the remnants of the Space Wolves, that's nothing. You don't want to be facing that. You really do not. They're having a hard time as it is taking out the defenders on Terra, and that was 3 legions who have been severely mauled, plus any loyalist troops and all that sort of stuff. But when you've got that amount, you're looking at least 350,000 Astartes with all their attendant ships, tanks, aircraft, all coming in hot. Yeah, Horus had to do something, because them turning up definitely would have fucking, wiped them out. The Iron Warriors are already fucked off at that stage. Alpha Legion weren't involved after obviously their little shindig beforehand. Emperor's Children, to be fair, is the funniest thing about the Siege of Terror, is that they really didn't do a lot apart from the Hollow Mountain and literally just running around rampant, capturing prisoners for doing strange, nefarious things with them. And it was only like in Saturnine, when they actually deployed the entire legion to attack. Apart from that, it was piecemeal. It was just like, no, we're having too much fun. They weren't really involved. Knight Lords weren't that big a presence. They were there, but they weren't en masse. Yes, the first traitor onto the first wall was a Knight Lord, but he didn't stay there long. So it was only like the 4 main legions, and they'd been reduced a third because of Istefan, and everything else in between. Warlord 1832 registered. Nice one. I'm still sad. Oh yeah. I have a female princess in my warlord, Domina De Luca, um, Lord of Light, and she is called Catherine's Decimara, the guardian of Dunros Forge. That's pretty awesome. I've got a couple of female princeps. I have one in Raptoris, my second Reaver, and one in Tacit Venatrix. So when I was doing Raptoris, I'd got hold of some of the AOS Sigmarine female heads. I think it was for them, or it might have been Necromunda. I don't know. I got some female heads and I swapped a couple over. So, but yeah, Raptoris has got female princeps, and so has Tacit Venatrix. I was really hoping in Echoes of Eternity we'd have seen the Conqueror and the Kragthon duking it out. Maybe there's still time for that, perhaps. As I said, you've got the Scouring. Although he doesn't... Well, the last time the Conqueror met the Ultramarines, it didn't do them too much good when they turned up to sort out Lorgar and what's his face, Angron, when Angron became the Red Angel. So, because you had the two kingships turn up, which that was a bit of a I didn't like that. And the whole about the Imperator being brought down by Audax. Because I know if I had been that princeps of that Imperator and I'd been harpooned, I would have fired my weapons point blank. I know that obviously they're being grappled, but you could have manipulated them by adjusting your body in order just to fire superheated, screamy death, and maybe that could have helped. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, such a cool book. I didn't build two of them. I built three. Well, they had only built one, the Furious Abyss, and it turns out three of them were made. That was the shock. Obviously, one, the Furious Abyss died in Battle for the Abyss, but didn't know that there was another two. Jesus. One would have been bad enough, and they just turned up and just went pew 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 and took out so much stuff, and plus obviously the Ultramarines were being uncharacteristically non-Ultramarine by rushing the lines to get the Titans on the floor. To help get the Titans on the floor. So that is what it is, unfortunately. It was a sad day to see all those, all those Ultramarines and Titans getting hurt. Damn it. Damn you. But yeah, it was crazy, to say the least. To say the very least. Right. Well, I think because it's 11 o'clock now, I'm going to have to adios. I didn't get much paid this evening. I've had too much of a fun time talking and answering your questions. That's I've actually had a really fun time this evening. So thank you everyone who's come in. Marius, it's good to see you again. And Master Mouse, as always. Legio Mortis. Boo! Yeah, landing an Imperator Titan on its own without support did seem a little odd. But it's just, 12 Warhounds just getting up there and harpooning and bringing it down. And obviously um, that's what made Audax cooler. And I do know for a fact that when Aaron was asked about Audax, saying like, oh, so they're just a Warhound only Legio, and he went, yeah, just Warhound sort of thing. And then after, when they've sort of like brought out the schemes and all that sort of, he's like, oh, they're really cool. And when I sort of painted up my first Audax and stuff, he went, I really regret now not saying they also had like Reavers as well. But then, would they have been as cool a Legion if it wasn't for the fact that they were only Warhounds and being very feisty and furious with their Ursus claws? And he also said he always expected Ursus claws to be in addition to the weapons. He thought that the Ursus claw would be on a roof rack firing, not arm mounted. That's how he envisioned them. But they're awesome as they are, and Audax is awesome because it is unique in being what it is, with the whole, they were banned from having, they've been punished. They could only have Warhounds, and then Angron stepping in and going, Direwolves. You're allowed Direwolves because they're not big Titans. Sorry, keeping you guessing. It's all right. I don't mind. I like talking, especially, you know, I've said this to other people before in chats and stuff. Like with these sort of like hobby hangouts, it is like, yeah, normally for the most part I'm not talking as much as I have. In my defence, I haven't spoken this much because I'm always feeling like a bit of a sore throat. Well, the roof of my mouth is a bit dry. Have some more drink. But yeah, it's these hobby hangouts. If there's no one asking questions and stuff in the chat, there's only so much I can do. So audience participation is always welcome. You know, talking about the latest releases or favourite models, anything like that, it's all good, you know. So everyone that comes in here, and there are some people that don't like talking, you know, that's fine. You don't have to, but it does make the whole thing more fun for all concerned, because, you know, say you're saying about this, I'm saying about that, and reacting to what you said and all that. It's all that back and forth, and it just adds the whole fun of hanging out and hobbying. Even though I've done very little today, I do apologise. All I've done is St. Paul's. There you go, and sprayed the base coat, primer coat on some Knights. So, in hobby wise, it's been my least productive. But in talk and general hanging outness, it's been my most productive for a long time, to be fair, because a lot of like the last few months, I have not struggled. It's just been hard going with the whole motivational things. October is in particular a bad month for me anyway, because it's a very emotional month for me because of people that I've lost over that course of that whole month. So it's very hard going. Like I'll still turn up, but I'm not normally going to be in the most flamboyant and over exuberant sort of mood a lot of the times. Sometimes it, you know, again, it depends who turns up. So like with you guys here now, it's easy to chat. So
yeah, like, you know, coming in, hanging out, doing some hobby. You've got me nyak, 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 nyak in your ears, but, and I know this from friends that have participated in the past, but they've messaged me and they're saying like, you know, it's just nice, even just like doing hobby, having someone there that you can talk to, you know, interact with, because say like a lot of time we're all on our own at home, at our paint desks. Yeah, you can watch a movie. You know, I have done in the past, or listen to audiobooks, but when you've got a couple of people having a chat in a chat thread and, you know, asking questions, and, you know, I know a bit about this thing, about this hobby malarkey. Um, so it's nice just to have a presence as such. And I've even had people in the past where they don't watch it live; they actually have it playing as background noise, which I'm actually really proud of, being background noise for when they are hobbying. Because again, like, I've learned a lot more about like skills and techniques through the chat. People just saying, "Oh, this is how I do this," and I thought, "Oh, I haven't even thought about doing it that way." But then it's all registered, and, you know, I might be doing something like stippling. Stippling for the last several years has been one of my main things of painting techniques that I do. But then chatting with the other mouse, Mousebait, when she's about, and Rob Walters, who was about, they said, "Oh, this is how we do it," or "I use this, I use that. Doing stripes, do it this way, do it that way." So there's always an exchange of ideas with hobby techniques. So I've learned a lot, and others have learned equally as much, sort of thing. And it's just something to do on a Wednesday and Saturday night. Just chill out, hang out, paint some models sometimes, or talk about the books, the games, talk about anything really. We don't tend to get political here. Um, you know, a hobby is meant to be something to help us relax. So we try to keep real world problems out of here. You know, but happy to talk books, movies, songs, TV shows, all that sort of jazz. Because it's nice to chat. It's good to hang out. Um, it's been a really fun stream. Learned lots of cool stuff. Very chill while I'm building some Death Company. There you go. And I'm building some Thanators on my breaking work later. So, um, so all right, Mortis, where are you? um, I only found your live stream the other week and really enjoyed it. So, well, thank you very much. But you say this is the whole thing. It's just the chilled back. There's no sort of like, you know, promotional stuff or anything like that. We're just some hobbyists chilling. That's all it is. But like with anything, you know, if there's a question to be asked, ask it. I'll answer it as best I can. And you know, just paint models. That's what we're all here for. In Northern Ireland. Yeah, see, I'll be over there in August. So, you know, and it's strange. Like I was actually looking at my like stats and stuff for YouTube, and most viewers for the channel are actually in America, which is pretty cool. But it's not. We do get, like, obviously Mousebait's American, Judge when he sort of pops in. There's a few others who was out in Canada as well. So we did used to, probably because I wasn't on, like, the last few months. I've only been doing a couple of hours sort of thing. This is the longest I've done in a while now, for a good few months. Getting up to sort of like 11:15 You know, my first watch stream I ever did, which is like almost like 4 years ago ish. Yeah, it was like definitely sort of lockdown thing. Scotland for you, cool. Haven't been up to Scotland yet. You know, I know I'm at the arse end of England, but Scotland is a destination I would like to go to. You know, I have got Scottish blood within this DNA mock-up of a meat sack, as well as my Irish DNA and stuff. So I would like to go up to Scotland at some point. You know, I've got friends up there as well, so it'd be nice to see them, like Edinburgh and Glasgow, of course. I've got a friend who moved up to just outside St Andrews, who has an Airbnb. So he always said I can get mates rates if I want to go up there. So that's definitely an incentive for visiting him and his family. But it's all it's really great, this little community. As I said, like normally when we've had a few of like the old guard on here as well, they said like, you know, Mouse is in the States, Judge, I think he's up sort of like New York way, Mouse is sort of down I think Georgia sort of thing. But yeah, when you see the stats and like 30% of the viewership is out in the US, that's pretty cool. You know, and then I think London gets a few percentage, and then it's like Ireland, Scotland, like Mac, who's on here. Mac was on here the other night, I think, when you popped in. He's Northern Ireland as well. I'm trying to think who else. Yeah, it's nice because that's the whole thing with like online, like social groups. Like we make friends with people all across the world, literally. So it's quite crazy. You know, again through like my Black Library friends, for example. You know, there's guys that before, like again, Mark Collins, who's a Black Library author now. He was one of the people that was being like the social group at Black Library groups, and like he's like got good friends. Like it was like a pack of them. One of them came from Malta, who's also a published author now for Black Library. Mark Anthony Fenech. And there's another guy, James, who's from Canada, and they used to fly over for the Black Library Weekenders, and they met at these Black Library Weekenders, and they all become good pals. And it's a beautiful thing when you say like hanging out with you guys and girls and whoever is here, and it's hanging out. It's a happy, safe space for chilling, listening to me whittle on about whatever's the subject we're talking about. But that's what, for me, makes the hobby. It's just, you know, again, before COVID, with my friends, like, again, we all over, like, Essex, where I live. And we would do, like, paint session. Like we'd meet up maybe one Monday a month, all go around to someone's house and paint for several hours. And it's, even though you're not gassing all the time, it's just having that company, somebody there to chat with. And this is just by far an online extension of that same thing, paint club as we called it. So me talking for several hours is not a problem. If you guys want to chat about stuff, then I'm happy to chat about stuff.
and occasionally do some hobby, which, as we know, I've painted that. It's all I've done this evening. But I think I kind of like it. It's worth it. Um, right. I will now definitely. I'm generally stuck inside the home at home, so rarely get to talk hobby with anyone. Thank the Emperor for the community, and that's what it is. It is a community. It's a hobby community. So, as I said, Wednesday nights and Saturday nights when I'm on, you're always welcome to come down, hang out, chat, chill. Maybe one day I will take things further and actually try and have some like a guest on, but I've got no freaking idea how to do that. That's why I like to consider myself as like that Lidl or Aldi version of a hobby live stream. You know, it's bare bones here. It's just literally a couple of cameras and my painting stuff. But it's still enjoyable. I enjoy it, and I wouldn't be doing it if I didn't enjoy it. But as you say, it's nice in that situation where you are, you know, stuck indoors, sort of thing. You can watch telly, but then you're not really focusing on it. But if you've got some long-haired freak chatting with you, it's all good. It's all good. Right, yes. So that's it. You kept me here for another few minutes. But yeah, as I said, I've really enjoyed this evening. I think I needed an evening like this as well. So when there's a lot of interaction, it is definitely a lot more fun. You know, some of the best live streams are, you know, when you've got people talking in a chat, I can see what you're going on about. I can interact and join in, sort of thing. But we've had in the past some really interesting stuff. There was like one stage we was a few of us were talking about our favourite what was a sexy snake or what was a sexy frog, and we was like, somebody was throwing out a suggestion. Oh, have you seen this one? And I'll look it up and put it on the show on my phone on the screen. Like, that is a sexy frog. It was just a really random sort of thing, but he was hilarious because then it sort of, there was two tribes. You had Team Snack and Team Frog, but we were united in our hatred of newts. Right. Anyway, until Saturday, stay safe, fella, and for the War Master, you get out of here, you Mortis dog. Ah! But yeah, happy hobbying. I hope the rest of the week goes well for you, and we will be back here from 8 p.m. Saturday evening, and we'll do some more. We'll do some freaking hobby. That will be for sure. I've got to do some stuff. Ooh, just realised I've got the volume up. So you get feedback. My end, anyway. So, yes. Hope you're all good. Hope you all chill out and have a good rest of the week. And I will see you at the weekend. So, until then, adios, muchachos, and arrivederci doodle doo. Peace out. See you later.